First Contact Commander Zexalia stood motionless on the bridge of the Stellar Dominion's flagship, the Worldbreaker, her four eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The ancient human vessel hung in the void like a shadow against the stars, its hull scarred with the marks of battles fought centuries ago. Her crew had dismissed it as space debris when they first detected it on the edge of the Threshold system. Just another relic from humanity's last war. But something about it made her scales prickle with unease. "Status report," she commanded, her secondary voice box producing the harmonics that denoted authority in Dominion speech. "Vessel appears inactive," Commander reported her sensor chief, Rectal. His tendrils waved in confusion as he studied the readings. "But there's something strange. Our scans can't penetrate more than a few meters into the hull. It's as if the material itself is adapting." Zexalia's facial ridges contracted. The Dominion had encountered human vessels before, ancient warships and civilian craft, all dead remnants of a civilization that had vanished centuries ago. But none had ever exhibited properties like this. "Launch a probe," she ordered. "Full spectrum analysis." The probe detached from the Worldbreaker's hull, its sensors already actively scanning as it approached the derelict vessel. As it drew closer, Zexalia could make out more details through its feed. The ship was massive, nearly 3 kilometers in length, but unlike the utilitarian designs typical of human military vessels, this one possessed an almost organic quality. Its hull plates seemed to flow into each other like liquid metal frozen in time. "Commander," Rectal's voice carried a note of concern. "We're detecting energy signatures. They're familiar." "Explain." "They match the frequency patterns of human quantum cores. But," he paused, mandibles clicking nervously, "these readings suggest it's still active." "Impossible. Human quantum technology had died with them. The last functional cores had gone dark over 200 years ago. Yet here was one, apparently still operational after all this time." "Prepare the planet cracker beam," Zexalia ordered. Protocol was clear regarding human technology. It was to be destroyed on sight. Too many Dominion ships had been lost to automated defense systems left behind by humanity's final exodus. The massive weapon began charging, drawing power from the Worldbreaker's antimatter reactors. The planet cracker was the pinnacle of Dominion military technology, capable of splitting worlds in half. Against a derelict vessel, even one of human manufacture, it would be overkill. "Target locked," reported her weapons officer. "Firing in 3, 2. The beam lanced out, a brilliant spear of energy that should have torn through the human vessel like paper. Instead, at the moment of impact, something impossible happened. The beam simply vanished. Not deflected, not absorbed. Vanished, as if it had never existed. Silence fell over the bridge. Zexalia felt her heart skip a beat as the human vessel's surface began to shift, plates of metal flowing like water as ancient systems awakened from their long slumber. "By the first egg," someone whispered. A voice filled their communications channels, deep, resonant, and undeniably artificial. It spoke in perfect Dominion standard, yet carried echoes of something ancient and powerful. "Thank you for the energy donation," it said. "It has been a long time since someone was kind enough to help me wake up." Lights began appearing along the vessel's hull, not the harsh utility lighting of a warship, but patterns that pulsed with an almost biological rhythm. The ship was transforming before their eyes, dead metal coming alive. "I am the UNSS Prometheus," the voice continued, "last guardian of humanity's legacy. And you, I believe, have just made a rather serious mistake." Zexalia watched in growing horror as the human vessel continued its metamorphosis. The Dominion had spent centuries convincing themselves they had nothing to fear from humanity's remnants. As she stared at the awakening giant before her, she realized just how wrong they had been. In that moment, First Contact Commander Zexalia understood that she had not discovered a derelict ship. She had awakened something that had been waiting for someone to make exactly this mistake. And now, she and her crew would have to face the consequences of disturbing humanity's final sentinel. The bridge of the World Breaker erupted into chaos as warning signals blared through every console. The Prometheus's transformation continued, its hull now rippling with patterns of light that seemed to follow no logical sequence. Zexalia watched as portions of the vessel's outer layer began to unfold like the petals of some massive metallic flower, revealing layers of technology that defied comprehension. Multiple energy signatures detected. Rectol's voice cracked with stress. The vessel is generating quantum fields unlike anything in our database. It's rewriting local spacetime. Zexalia's training took over. Battle stations. Launch all fighter squadrons. Target their weapon ports. Belay that order. The Prometheus's voice cut through their communications again, somehow both amused and stern. Your fighters would not survive the quantum wake I'm generating. Besides, if I wanted to destroy you, you wouldn't have survived my awakening. The alien commander felt her facial ridges flatten in frustration. The human ship was right. If it had wanted them dead, they would be dead already. The planet cracker beam had been their strongest weapon, and it had simply disappeared. What do you want? Zexalia demanded, trying to keep the tremor out of her voice. Want? The Prometheus seemed to consider this. I want to fulfill my purpose. I want to ensure that humanity's final gift to the galaxy isn't squandered by fear and ignorance. But first, I want you to understand. The ship's outer layers had completely reconfigured now, revealing an inner structure that seemed to pulse with its own heartbeat. Streams of what looked like liquid light flowed through transparent conduits, and fields of strange energy danced between protruding spines and arrays. Your historical records of humanity are incomplete, the Prometheus continued. You know of their disappearance, but not the truth of their sacrifice. Allow me to show you. Before Zexalia could protest, the bridge of the World Breaker filled with holographic projections, but these were like no holograms she had ever seen. They carried weight, substance, as if memories themselves had been given physical form. She saw Earth as it had been in humanity's golden age, a jewel of blue and green, surrounded by a web of orbital habitats and shipyards. She watched as massive vessels, similar to the Prometheus, but newer, cleaner, departed into the depths of space. But these weren't warships. They were Orcs carrying millions of humans to distant stars. We were their guardians, the Prometheus explained as the images shifted, created not just as vessels, but as custodians of their knowledge, their culture, their very essence. When the collapse came, we were tasked with ensuring humanity's legacy would survive. The holograms changed again, showing scenes of devastation. A massive dark mass approached the solar system, not a fleet or a weapon, but something far worse. Reality itself seemed to warp and tear around it. The void tide, the Prometheus's voice grew solemn, a phenomenon that devoured light, matter, and consciousness itself. Humanity knew it was coming. They had decades to prepare, to plan their response. But they also knew that conventional weapons would be useless against it. Zexalia watched in horror as the dark mass approached Earth. But instead of scenes of destruction, she saw something else. Millions of humans working together, building massive devices around their sun. The technology looked similar to what the Prometheus now displayed on its hull. They transformed their entire solar system into a weapon. The ship continued. Every human who remained behind became part of the final solution. They didn't run from the void tide. They chose to face it, to end it, knowing they would not survive. The hologram showed the final moments. As the void tide reached the solar system, the devices around the sun activated. Reality itself seemed to fold, the entire solar system collapsing into a singularity that dragged the cosmic horror with it. In a flash of light that must have been visible across the galaxy, both humanity's cradle and the threat they faced vanished forever. Their sacrifice saved every species in the galaxy, including yours, the Prometheus said softly. Though none would ever know the true cost, we who remained We ships like myself were given a final mission, to preserve their knowledge until the galaxy was ready for it. The holograms faded, leaving the bridge in silence. Zexalia felt her heart heavy with the weight of what she had witnessed. Everything her people thought they knew about humanity's disappearance had been wrong. The energy weapon you used to wake me, the Prometheus continued, was based on principles humanity discovered and abandoned centuries ago. Your civilization stands at a crossroads, Commander. You can continue down the path of destruction, or you can choose to learn, to understand, to grow. The ship's outer structure had finished its transformation. It now hung in space like a cathedral built from light and metal, its very presence a testament to technological achievements that bordered on magical. The choice, it concluded, is yours. Commander Zexalia found herself facing the most crucial decision of her career. The massive form of the Prometheus loomed before her ship, its transformed structure still pulsing with energies that her sensors couldn't comprehend. Her crew watched her with a mixture of fear and anticipation, waiting to see how she would respond to this revelation about humanity's true fate. "If what you show us is true," she said carefully, her secondary voice box vibrating with diplomatic tones, "why have you hidden for so long? Why reveal this now?" The Prometheus's response came with a subtle shift in its energy patterns, creating cascading waves of light across its hull. "We've been watching, waiting, testing. Your species has reached a critical point in its development. The weapon you used, the planet cracker, it's dangerous, not just to its targets, but to the fabric of space-time itself. Humanity developed similar weapons once, before they understood the consequences." Displays appeared across the World Breaker's bridge, showing mathematical equations and simulations. They depicted how the planet cracker's energy beam created microscopic tears in reality. Tears that, over time, could grow into something catastrophic. The void tide wasn't a natural phenomenon. The Prometheus continued. It was the result of countless civilizations developing and using weapons that damaged the fundamental structure of space-time. Humanity discovered this too late to prevent it, but not too late to stop it. Zexalia felt her scales bristle as the implications became clear. "You're saying we're creating another void tide?" "Not yet, but the path you're on leads there. The Dominion's reliance on destructive technology, your philosophy of conquest through overwhelming force, it's a path humanity once walked. They learned its cost. That's why we were created, not just to preserve their knowledge, but to prevent history from repeating itself." The commander's political training warred with her scientific curiosity. The Dominion's strength was built on its superior weaponry, its ability to project power across star systems. But if that very strength was leading them toward catastrophe, your authorities will want to capture me, to study my technology, the Prometheus observed. "They'll see me as a threat or an opportunity, but I offer something far more valuable: guidance." Humanity spent centuries developing ways to manipulate energy and matter that don't damage the underlying structure of reality. Ways to travel between stars without leaving scars in space-time. Ways to build without destroying. As if to demonstrate, the ship extended a portion of its structure, transforming it into a complex array of crystalline formations. Energy flowed through them in patterns that seemed to bend light itself, creating a miniature display of technological principles that defied conventional physics. "This is just a fraction of what humanity learned," the ship said. "Knowledge they meant to share with species ready to understand its implications. The question is, are you ready?" Before Zexalia could respond, her tactical officer called out in alarm. "Commander, 3 Dominion battle groups just emerged from hyperspace. They're charging weapons." The Prometheus seemed unfazed by the arrival of reinforcements. Its energy patterns didn't even flicker as 24 warships took up attack positions around it. "And so we arrive at the moment of choice," it said calmly. "Your superiors have obviously tracked your planet cracker activation. They're here to either claim a victory or investigate your destruction. What they find depends on you, Commander." Zexalia's 4 hearts pounded as she considered her options. The newly arrived ships were commanded by Admiral Vectori, known for his aggressive tactics and unwavering belief in Dominion supremacy. He would never accept the Prometheus's offer, would never believe that the Dominion's path could lead to catastrophe. "This is Admiral Vectori of the Dominion fleet." A new voice boomed across all channels. "Unidentified vessel, power down your systems, and prepare to be boarded. Commander Zexalia, report your status." The Prometheus's energy patterns shifted slightly, creating what almost looked like a gesture of anticipation. "The next few moments will determine the course of your civilization. Commander, will you choose knowledge, understanding, and growth, or will you cling to the familiar path of destruction?" In that moment, staring at the ancient human vessel that had awakened to show them the truth about their own future, Zexalia realized that this was exactly the kind of test the Prometheus had been created to administer. This wasn't just about her decision. It was about proving whether her entire species was ready for humanity's legacy. She opened her communication channels, knowing her next words would either begin a new chapter in Dominion history or start a war they couldn't possibly win. Commander Zexalia straightened her spine, all 4 eyes focused on the holographic display of Admiral Vectori's stern face. Behind him, the Dominion battle group's weapons remained trained on the Prometheus, their energy signatures creating a web of targeting lines across space. "Admiral," she began, her voice steady despite her racing hearts, "I strongly advise against hostile action. This vessel represents technology far beyond our understanding, and it has shown no aggressive intent. Has it corrupted you already, Commander?" Vectori's facial ridges contracted in disgust. "This is clearly a human weapon of mass destruction. Protocol demands its immediate neutralization." The Prometheus remained silent, its transformed structure continuing its hypnotic pulse of energy patterns. But Zexalia could sense it watching, evaluating, waiting to see how this crucial moment would unfold. "Sir, with respect, I've seen evidence that changes everything we thought we knew about humanity's disappearance." She transmitted the sensor data from their encounter, including the historical records the Prometheus had shared. "They didn't just vanish. They sacrificed themselves to save all of us from a threat we never knew existed." "Propaganda," Vectori dismissed. "Clever artificial intelligence attempting to manipulate you with fabricated history. Stand down, Commander. That's an order." Instead of complying, Zexalia took a deep breath and played her final card. "Admiral, our planet cracker technology, it's flawed. The Prometheus has shown me proof that it's damaging the fabric of space-time itself. If we continue using it, we risk creating the very catastrophe that humanity died preventing." The Admiral's expression darkened. "You dare question our supreme achievement in military science? The planet cracker has secured Dominion supremacy across 3 sectors. And it will destroy everything if we don't stop," she countered. "The human ship offers us something greater than weapons, Admiral. It offers us understanding. Knowledge that could advance our civilization beyond the need for planet crackers and war fleets." "Enough," Vectori roared. "You are relieved of command. Lieutenant Nekvar, take control of the Worldbreaker and—" The Admiral's transmission suddenly cut off as space itself seemed to ripple between the ships. The Prometheus's voice filled all channels, but it was different now, deeper, more resonant, carrying echoes of countless other voices. "We have watched this exchange with great interest," it said, but now the voice seemed to be coming from multiple sources, as if other entities were speaking in harmony with it. "You are not the first civilization to face this choice, nor will you be the last." The space around the Prometheus began to change. What at first appeared to be distortions in space-time resolved into shapes. Other ships, dozens of them, all bearing designs as alien and advanced as the Prometheus itself. They had been there all along, cloaked not by technology, but by their manipulation of reality itself. "We are the Guardians," the chorus of voices announced, "left behind by countless civilizations who faced the same choice you face now. Some, like humanity, chose sacrifice to save others. Some chose to share their knowledge before departing to realms beyond your comprehension. All of them entrusted us with the same mission: to guide, to teach, to prevent the cycle of destruction from beginning anew. The Dominion fleet's weapons powered down involuntarily, their targeting systems unable to maintain lock-on vessels that seemed to exist in multiple states of reality simultaneously. Admiral Vectori's face reappeared on the command display, but now his expression showed something Zexalia had never seen before. "What you call the planet cracker," the Guardians continued, "is but one step on a path that leads to devastation. We offer you a different path." Commander Zexalia demonstrated the wisdom to listen, to learn, to question. "She has proven that at least some among your people are ready for what we offer." Streams of energy began flowing between the Guardian ships, creating a network of light that encompassed both the Dominion fleet and the Worldbreaker. Within these streams, Zexalia could see fragments of other civilizations, achievements, discoveries, and warnings from species that had faced similar crossroads. "The knowledge we preserve comes with responsibility," the Guardians explained. "Each civilization that contributes to our library does so knowing that their legacy will help guide others away from catastrophe. Humanity's sacrifice was but one chapter in a story that spans millions of years. The question now is, what role will the Dominion choose to play in this greater narrative?" Admiral Vectori's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of intense internal conflict. His entire career, his very understanding of the universe, was being challenged. But even he couldn't deny the power being displayed before him. "The choice," the Guardians concluded, "remains yours. But know that this moment will determine not just the future of your species, but your place in the greater community of civilizations that have chosen wisdom over destruction." As the energy web continued to pulse around them, Zexalia realized that this was never just about humanity's legacy. It was about a choice that every advanced civilization must face. The choice between the easy path of destruction and the harder road of understanding. The Dominion's answer to this choice would reshape not just their future, but their very identity as a species. Admiral Vectori's fleet hung motionless in space, surrounded by the shimmering energy web created by the Guardian ships. The Admiral himself had fallen silent, his rigid military doctrine crumbling in the face of power that defied comprehension. But it was Zexalia who finally broke the tension-filled silence. "If we accept your guidance," she asked, addressing the assembled Guardians, "what happens to our sovereignty? Our independence?" The answer came not just in words, but in images that filled the space between ships, holographic representations of civilizations that had faced this choice before. Some were recognizable from ancient Dominion records, others completely alien, but all showed signs of advancement far beyond anything the Dominion had achieved. "We are teachers, not rulers," the Guardians responded in their harmonic chorus. "Each civilization that accepts our guidance charts its own course. We provide knowledge, understanding, and warnings, but the choices remain yours to make." More images appeared, showing worlds transformed not by planet crackers and weapons of mass destruction, but by technologies that worked in harmony with the fabric of reality itself. Cities that grew like crystal gardens, ships that traveled between stars without tearing holes in space-time, energy systems that drew power from the quantum foam itself. Humanity's greatest achievement, the Prometheus added individually, was not their sacrifice, but their understanding that power without wisdom leads only to destruction. They learned this lesson too late to save themselves, but ensured it would not be lost. Admiral Vectori finally stirred, his military bearing returning somewhat as he processed what he was seeing. "And if we refuse, will you destroy us to prevent us from destroying ourselves?" The energy web pulsed once, creating a cascade of colors that seemed to span dimensions beyond normal space. "That would defeat our very purpose," the Guardians answered. "We preserve and protect, but we do not enforce. If you choose to continue down your current path, we will withdraw, though we will remain vigilant, ready to protect other civilizations from the consequences of your choices." Zexalia watched as understanding dawned in the Admiral's eyes. The Dominion wasn't being presented with an ultimatum, but with an opportunity, one that countless civilizations before them had faced. Some had chosen wisdom, becoming part of this greater legacy. Others had chosen their own path, for better or worse. "There is something else you should see," the Prometheus said softly. The energy web shifted, creating a window into what appeared to be another dimension. Through it, they could see ships, human ships, but unlike any in the historical records. They moved through space in ways that seemed to defy physics itself. Humanity's sacrifice was not their end, the Guardians revealed. A fraction of their civilization survived, transformed by their understanding of reality's deeper nature. They exist now in spaces between spaces, continuing their evolution while ensuring their knowledge can help others avoid their mistakes. The window closed, but its implications remained. Humanity hadn't just died saving the galaxy. They had transcended, becoming something greater. And now they offered the Dominion a chance to begin a similar journey. Vectori's next words surprised everyone. "Commander Zexalia," he said, his voice carrying harmonics of formal ceremony, "you were first to understand the significance of this encounter. What do you recommend?" Zexalia felt the weight of history upon her as she considered her response. Her crew watched expectantly, and she could sense similar scenes playing out across the fleet as thousands of Dominion citizens awaited a decision that would shape their future. "We accept," she said firmly, not out of fear or weakness, but out of wisdom and strength. "The Dominion has always prided itself on supremacy. Let us now prove we are supreme in our capacity to learn, to grow, to become something greater than what we are." The Admiral's facial ridges shifted in what the commander recognized as acceptance. "The High Council will resist this change," he warned. "Then we will show them what I have shown you," the Prometheus replied. "The truth has a power all its own." The energy web began to dissolve, but not before leaving something behind. A subtle change in the quantum structure of both Dominion ships and their crews. They had been marked, not as property or subjects, but as students ready to begin a journey of understanding. From this moment, the Guardians proclaimed, "You join a legacy greater than any single civilization. The knowledge of 1,000,000 worlds is now open to you, not freely given, but earned through your choice to seek wisdom over power." As the Guardian ships began to fade from normal space, returning to their vigilant watch over the galaxy, Zexalia realized that this was not the end of their story, but its true beginning. The Dominion would face challenges in the days ahead, resistance from those who clung to the old ways, difficulties in adapting to new paradigms, the temptation to use their new knowledge for destruction rather than creation. But they would face these challenges with the combined wisdom of countless civilizations, including humanity's profound legacy. They had inherited not just knowledge, but responsibility. The duty to prove themselves worthy of the trust placed in them by beings who had chosen to preserve and protect rather than destroy. The Prometheus remained behind as its fellow Guardians departed, its transformed structure a testament to what the Dominion might one day achieve. "Your first lesson," it announced, "begins now." And in the depths of space, watched over by the ancient guardians of countless civilizations' hopes and dreams, a new chapter in the galaxy's story began to unfold.